One of the things I've discovered over the years is that when monumental things happen in our lives, there often isn't a template to hold them that appears. Not because it isn't there or doesn't exist. We're just not raised to see it or to know it. When my house burned down to the ground with everything in it, and that was at another's hand, not my own, to add insult to injury. When my beloved left a year to the day after the fire, inexplicably. When the betrayals surfaced. When my heart tachycardias kept returning and they couldn't fix it. When I received the diagnosis with my eyes. When estrangement unfolded in my family. When a misdiagnosed injury became life-threatening because of that misdiagnosis. When Marlo returned back home and died 7 months later. These were not small things. These were big-ticket items. What I noticed during those times is that my system had a lot of trouble metabolizing physiologically, psychologically, what had happened. The experiences were pretty large for my nervous system, complex, multi-layered. And you might ask yourself, well, what about me? Do I have experiences like this? It doesn't have to be about the events necessarily. You could ask yourself, am I having trouble applying quick fixes or explanations or even new modalities to help deal with what's traveling across the movie screen of my life? Where you might be trying usual solutions, new stuff, complex stuff, and none of it really feels like it's sticking. That would be the first indicator. Something different might be needed. And it's not an indicator that there's something broken in you or that there's something wrong with you. It just means that more conventional ways of looking at things aren't helping. I see this dynamic today in something that I deeply cherish, and that's art. People often say to me, you're so lucky you get to paint. It must be so relaxing. It must be so much fun. And the truth is, it's just not like that for me. Painting is psychologically really hard work for me. There are trauma imprints around my art making that make it difficult to stand there some days. Yet, art is in my DNA. There is no question about that. And just because difficulty arises doesn't mean I should turn away from it. It doesn't mean I should try to fit my life into someone else's paradigm of what fulfillment or happiness is supposed to look like. Doesn't mean that anything is unprocessed or not looked at. No. Part of sovereignty is catching hold of your one precious life, really getting up into the saddle of it, deeply seated in the what isness of what your life is and what you struggle with. Calling a spade, whatever that may be for you, whatever you need to do. Not what you think others need you to do, not what society says you should do, not what others believe healing should look like. Because with these big things in life, there will be, try as you might, no spiritual bypass. Either we continue to suffer and dump on ourselves for not being able to get it right according to all the modalities and prescriptions that society offers, or we become so exhausted that a kind of existential crisis appears that in retrospect will divide your world and your life into a before and an after. It's precisely in the space where another option can be realized. Over time, I began to understand that what I needed wasn't a template for fixing these things. What I needed was a place to stand, a place to be, a place that respected my sovereignty, however that sovereignty would express itself. A place where I could take exquisite care of myself while moving through very difficult terrain. A space where all the mind chatter, all the internal bickering and all the goings-ons of daily life could really finally come to rest and still exist. For me, that place is conscious awareness. Conscious awareness doesn't try to fix the content of my life. Instead, it provides context, a space large enough to hold everything that's happening. And from that space, capacity naturally emerges. And when capacity is present, I'm able to see the choice points that allow me to move through the difficulty rather than taking another ride down the drain hole of whatever I'm suffering with. So for me, the work has never been about eliminating the difficult parts of life. I haven't been able to do that. Rather, the work has been about continually reorienting myself back to that place of awareness. And I'm not talking about meditation. Although meditation has its place, you do not have to earn conscious awareness by practicing something which is already there. The space where everything is held is already present. We just discover it over and over again, and we learn to return again and again. Allowing conscious awareness to become the ruler of the kingdom that defines our reality. First through context, never through content. And it's at that intersection that meaningful choices can be made. Purpose-driven choices, choices that emerge from awareness and capacity rather than desperation. Those choices will always reach deeper than any 5-step or 2-week or 3-month healing paradigm. And it doesn't mean that those things cannot be helpful, but they are only truly helpful when they're held in the dimension of conscious awareness, which opens into our inherent capacity, which allows us to take action from genuine choice points. Discover conscious awareness, return to conscious awareness. I'm right there with you. It's going to be okay. Thank you for listening today. I'll see you soon.